Hey everyone, today I've got your Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie review. I may not have completely liked the first Amazing Spider-Man, but I did enjoy the first two movies of the Sam Raimi trilogy. Darn you, Marc Webb! So, I wasn't going to go into this movie with a lot of expectations that I know most people have been having, and it looks like I'm going to have to start some kind of Google Hangout to talk about this movie further. Though this movie was great at making all sorts of ads, including all those trailers and potentially spoilerific TV spots, it kind of ruined the movie watching experience for me. But I was looking forward to seeing some old and newly added characters. Andrew Garfield returns as Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and I really was not impressed with the way his character turned out in this movie this time around. The jokes are bad and overused, and just had this huge problem with letting go of the past. He, for example, was seeing Captain Stacy's ghost constantly everywhere he went, and it just, it didn't make sense considering he seemed to care more about him than he did his Uncle Ben, who had died in the first movie. At least he's family, and I don't see Peter and Gwen putting a ring on it anytime soon. Like Peter did with Mary Jane in Raimi's Spider-Man movie. Now, I've heard around the block that their relationship is like a Twilight movie. I can definitely see that here. But there really should have been a better plan with showing off their chemistry more without it being too hokey. Their first post-graduation interaction with each other really showed just how, oh, we can't be together anymore, but I love you, Peter. It's like listening to Taylor Swift music. And if that wasn't crazy enough, there are plenty of villains in this movie that are on par with Spider-Man 3. Now, I feel like this movie was a jumbled mess. So nobody hate me for saying that. With all these plot holes and not enough backstory on the characters, that you don't really care about them that much. And I hated that, because I actually love when they do have character development. Same thing happens here, where you have Paul Giamatti, who plays this guy Rhino, who is only in the movie for maybe 20 minutes, maybe even less. I knew right away when they were focusing more on Electro and Green Goblin that his character was just going to be like straight up useless. Speaking of Electro, Jamie Foxx plays a scientist, Max, who works at Oscorp, who eventually becomes this guy. My only gripe with him was the fact that he was made to only be this Spidey superfan, kind of like Helga from Hey Arnold, who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Then he changes his mind completely about him. I'm like, what? I was rooting for Electro because I'm not too familiar with the comics, and his character was designed pretty well, so I like the way he did turn out on film. But the biggest issue that I would have with any character storyline, it has to be Harry Osborn, aka Green Goblin. I think the marketing for Amazing Spider-Man 2 should have left his character in the dark, just left him alone, since he's basically the James Franco of Spider-Man 3. Only Chris Cooper, who is a fantastic actor, got subjected to playing his father, who is seen on his deathbed for no more than 5 minutes. His character seemed also like it was almost added just for fan service or just to tie in with Harry's character, but Dane DeHaan had a lot of potential to make his character very memorable, but I just did not like the way he turned out in the end. Even though I know about a certain something that he does to someone, but he was nowhere nearly as good as Willem Dafoe, I'm just saying. I immediately cracked up when he first stepped out as Green Goblin. I just can't stop picturing him singing, I feel pretty, oh so pretty and witty and green. And what about that Spidey suit? Did anyone else notice it? It had a completely new design compared to the first movie, but I guess I just don't like the eyes. Don't even get me started on those web shooters. And that Hans Zimmer score, I will admit that it was pretty different. But I did like the edginess in this, like similar that he did for both the Batman movies and Superman. Some of these special effects were cool, a step up from the first movie, that's for sure. The visuals were amazing, pun intended, and there was there were a lot of good lighthearted moments. But I don't know how well that will make up for the first movie, which I've only seen twice, because I originally did not favor that one. At least this movie attempted to step up its game, but no one comes out swinging. Even if there were some lighthearted moments that makes for an interesting balance and more feelings towards Sally Field's character, Aunt May, who is fantastic in this film. Overall, this movie was messy and fast-paced, with somewhat bad character development. Obviously, if you weren't a fan of the first Spider-Man movie, chances are you probably won't like this one. But if you were a fan of both movies, let me know in the comments what you guys think of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. As always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Chill Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.